Lin Xun thought for a while and said, if it's just to strengthen the body, it's okay to practice like this. Xiao Tanren's eyes narrowed and he said, what if it's used to fight fierce beasts, or to fight strong enemies? Lin Xun was silent for a moment before he said, Uncle Xiao, the truth is that, in the eyes of the younger generation, if these children ask for their martial arts, if they practice in this way, they will go astray. Xiao Tanren was stunned for a while, and he didn't know what to think. His old face changed slightly, and after a while, he took a deep breath and said, Lin Xun, are you sure? Lin Xun nodded. He had absolutely no need to deceive the other party. Seeing this, Xiao Tanren was silent for a while, his face gloomy and uncertain. At this moment, there was a sudden noise at the entrance of the village, the ground shook a little, and the dust was flying. It's Uncle Lian and the others. In the distance, cheers could be heard. Immediately, Lin Xun saw a group of people rushing from the entrance of the village, headed by a middle-aged animal skin, with long hair and a shawl, with a majestic appearance, and the skin all over his body was like a rock, exuding explosive power. He sat high on the back of a scaly horse as tall as a giant elephant, his eyes were as cold as a knife, and his power was extremely extraordinary. Behind him, there are also a number of figures, but they are riding slightly inferior deer and horses, each with a spear or a sword, and some deer and horses are also carrying piles of animal skins. Seeing such a scene, Lin Xun remained calm, but was a little surprised. Those are the guards of the village. There are 9 people in total. The leader is Lian Rufeng. He is the leader of the guards in the village and has the cultivation of the 4th realm of true martial arts. While talking, the village chief Xiao Tanren led Lin Xun up to greet him. The children who were practicing boxing also cheered and ran over. Not only that, but other villagers in the village were also alerted and came out one after another. When they saw Lian Rufeng and his party, they were all overjoyed and greeted them. It can be seen from this that Lian Rufeng's prestige among the villagers is high. All the salt, cloth and daily necessities needed in our village need to be exchanged for the Kinyan tribe 3,000 miles away by the leader of Lian Rufeng and his guards with the Spirit Valley harvested in the village. It takes half a month to go back and forth from our Fian village to Kinyan tribe. The road is full of dangers. If you are not careful, you may not be able to come back again. It's really hard for them. While walking, Xiao Tanren explained to Lin Xun. When he said this, he seemed to realize something, and suddenly whispered, what we talked about just now about the marching fist. Don't let the leader of Lian Rufeng know about it. I'll tell you the reason later. Lin Xun understood and nodded, faintly feeling that Xiao Tanren seemed to be wary of Lian Rufeng. Howling. At this time, the tall and powerful scaled horse let out a high-pitched neigh, and, surrounded by everyone, stopped in front of Xiao Tanren. Lian Rufeng got off his horse and laughed. Brother Xiao, we're back. This man has a majestic appearance, and his body is also burly, like a mountain. Looking closely, his breath is long, his breathing is condensed, his fascia is tough, and his joints are filled with explosive spiritual energy. The 3-level realm of Zen Wu is the opening house, the house of the 5 internal organs. And the 5 internal organs are in charge of the 5 elements, which is the foundation of the cultivator's 5 elements. At that time, the cultivator's spiritual power will circulate in the 5 houses, and it will reach the inside and outside of the whole body, running like a tiger and a leopard. Powerful. Putting it in the army of the Ziyao Empire, it is enough to be a centurion in charge of 100 soldiers. And this real martial arts 4-level opening orifice realm is the spiritual orifice that opens up the limbs and bones. If the orifice is open, the spirit is condensed, and the spirit is condensed, the chi and blood are prosperous. After arriving at this realm, the cultivator's chi and blood boils like wolf smoke, not afraid of cold and heat, not afraid of evil, stepping on the snow without a trace, agile like flying. Even if he does not eat for 3 days and 3 nights, his energy and spirit will not weaken. This Lian Rufeng in front of him is a powerhouse at the level of Tong Qiao. Standing at will, to ordinary people, It is like a volcano that can erupt at any time, with a powerful force that blows at the face. Lin Xun couldn't help but secretly surprised, not because he was afraid of the opponent's power, but felt that it was really strange that such a cultivator could appear in this remote Fen village. Huh? Who is this little guy? At this time, Lian Rufing also noticed Lin Xun's unfamiliar face, and couldn't help frowning slightly. His stern eyes were full of scrutiny. This is Lin Xun, and in the future, he will be considered a member of our Fen village, Xiao Tanren explained with a smile. When he learned that Lin Xun was actually a spirit pattern apprentice, Lian Rufing just narrowed his eyes, not too surprised. However, when he knew that it was Lin Xun who took action to help Tishan and Liu Dabiao's Lingshan eliminate the pests, Lian Rufing was a little moved. He has traveled all over the world over the years, and naturally he has seen many apprentices with spiritual patterns, and he naturally knows more than other people in the village. He even knows that apprentices with spiritual patterns are at best a miscellaneous character beside the spiritual pattern master. However, there are not many spiritual pattern apprentices who can engrave spiritual patterns and help Lingshan eliminate insect pests. This is also the reason why Lian Rufing moved. I've seen Uncle Lian. Lin Xun stepped forward and greeted him with a smile. Ha ha ha, we will be our own family from now on, don't be polite, and work hard. If we can have a real spirit rune master in Fen village, it will be a great honor. Lian Rufing laughed and patted Lin Xun on the shoulder. His voice was loud and he seemed quite affectionate. But Lin Xun was keenly aware that there was always a hint of scrutiny and suspicion in Lian Rufing's eyes when he looked at him, so that he knew at once that the guard leader with the fourth realm of true martial arts in front of him should be he is a very profound person in the city. Lin Xun grew up in a dark mine prison since he was a child. He saw many murderous prisoners in the prison. Once Mr. Lu was drunk and said unintentionally that if all these prisoners were released, he would definitely poison is spreading all over the world, and the scourge is endless. If it is placed in the Xiao Empire, I am afraid it will cause a turmoil. From this, you can imagine how powerful those prisoners are. All of them are the most vicious people in the world. Lin Xun grew up in such a dark environment surrounded by wicked people. Under the influence of his ears and eyes, he also has his own experience in observing words and colors and distinguishing people's hearts. He even learned a lot of ways to understand people's hearts from those prisoners. Therefore, Lin Xun believes that his judgment is definitely not wrong. Even Rufing should be a very scheming character. Regardless of whether it is good or bad, at least this person is not as simple as the surface. With this kind of thought in mind, when Lin Xun went to see Lian Rufing again, he found some differences. For example, although this person is wearing an old animal skin coat, there is a lavender wooden pendant hanging around his waist. If Lin Xun is not mistaken, the lavender wooden pendant should be carved from red sandalwood spruce wood. Expensive, worth 10 imperial silver coins. Another example is the pair of grey boots that this person is wearing. Others can't see the texture, but Lin Xun can see at a glance that the pair of boots are tanned from the grey falcon feathers. It was also engraved with a pair of fast wind spirit patterns, which can make the cultivator as light as a swallow during battle, making it even more powerful. In terms of value, this pair of boots is far from that piece of red sandalwood spruce pendant. This is interesting. How can a cultivator in a remote and barren mountain village afford such an expensive treasure? This guy is definitely not easy. Lin Xun was thoughtful in his heart.